Hey, what's up everyone? It's O here with a video on how to powerfully communicate your message to anyone. And when I say your message, you could also say your gift, your service. If you have something of value to offer and there are people out there in the world that you absolutely know would benefit from what it is that you have to offer, but you find yourself in situations sometimes where you are frustrated um, at the inability, or if you feel incapable of actually communicating. The message is not being received, the gift, the service, whatever it is not being received, and you're coming up against these apparent obstacles that are blocking the flow of the communication and the exchange of whatever the gift is. This is the situation that I'm talking about. And the first assumption I'm going to make here is that you are actually in the right place at the right time and you are in a situation that you truly do have something of value to offer. If that's the case and you find yourself coming up with really good reasons, excuses about why it's not actually happening, which only amps up your desire even further for it to actually happen, then that's what this video is about. And of all the reasons, of all the excuses, of all the things that our minds can conjure up of why the communication is not actually transferring, why the gift isn't being received, whether it's the person has a different belief system, they don't understand, they don't get it. All these reasons really are just excuses, especially if that moment is this sort of moment of potential, this destiny moment where there really is something there. So the first thing to do is take full responsibility. That's step one. Now, you may not know what to do with that or how to solve the situation, but if you're not taking responsibility, if you think your excuses are actually real, then you're not going to get anywhere. So take full responsibility and drop into your heart. That's really the heart of this video. Because here's the thing, if your heart, if you have something that really is heartfelt, that is in your heart to give of value, the language of the heart transcends language barriers, it transcends backgrounds, race, creed, culture, belief systems, it transcends everything. So you might want to ask yourself, are you being in service to people's hearts or in service to their minds? In service to their spirit or in service to their ego? Because if a person is in need, let's just say a person is in need of something that you have to offer of value, if they're in a state of need, if they're in a state of disempowerment of any kind, they're already disconnected and feeling disconnected from their source, which means that they're probably in their head. They're probably in a reactive mode. So they're actually kind of doing their job if they are giving you reasons, objections, excuses, things that are coming from a state of separation. So if you find yourself trying, which there's a dead giveaway right there, if you're trying, you're like, oh yeah, I tried this, I tried to speak to them, I tried to get through to them, then you have something happening inside you, and this is the blind spot here, where you're not actually in your heart. So it's like mind trying to speak to mind, mask to mask, ego to ego. Because when you're in your heart, then you don't get distracted by what appears to be an illusion, and it appears to be a solid wall, appears to be a resistance, appears to be nothing able to go through. You don't get distracted by that. You see with the eyes of the heart, which only sees the highest version of the person, which actually sees the person in their heart, where they're actually in their most empowered state. And this is why if you are in a situation like that and you find the seeming wall to disappear and the person suddenly gets it in ways that are drastically different from where you started, if that happens, we call it a miracle. So really, being in the heart is the space where miracles can occur. It's a space where opportunities can open up, communication potentials can open up that seem to be completely shut down. So generally, when we're unable to communicate something, when we're unable to offer our gift or service, and when there really truly is a potential there, then we're not in our hearts, we're in our heads. And sometimes when we're in our heads, we become self-righteous. It's like we have a new enlightened idea, and you know, and we're on the bandwagon of that, and we forget that at one point we weren't enlightened, and so we lack the compassion, we lack the ability to see how anybody else could not see what we're wanting to see. And when we're in that space, we're trying to make a point, we're trying to be right, we're trying to, all of these things which are not actually in the heart. Because when we're in our heart, not only do you not have to have the right words, not have to be perfectly articulate, but you could actually mumble, you could actually be silent. And if you're really in your heart and you're committed to that, and you're following that, and you're allowing that to flow unobstructedly, you could literally mumble and the person would get it. This is what happens sometimes in relationships when, you know, keep trying to say the same thing. I'm saying the right thing, I'm saying the right thing, I'm saying, and then all of a sudden, when you give up, when you surrender, when you drop back into your heart, consciously or unconsciously, suddenly the person gets it. Suddenly the person gets it. Because you're not fixated on trying to make a point, in which case then you have an infinite supply of words and ways of saying things that can naturally come to you in the flow, because you're keeping the main thing, which is being in your heart, and the heart of the message, the true heart of being in service. That's my message for you today. My name's Oren Harris. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.